You can't really feel it when it's a drip, but you can feel an injection because if it's like an injection, let's say that dexamethasone, or if they're doing what they call a saline flush.
Oh, so that also goes through the catheter?
Yeah,
all
yeah,
the
yeah,
pre-meds?
yeah.
Okay.
So that's
They were
that.
just a couple of pills you popped.
Yeah, 2 pills and 1 injection.
Right. So you can feel that pressure coming through.
Yeah, you can feel the thing coming through the cable. It's a weird feeling, really weird. Like you just feel like movement in your chest. It's just really odd.
Hey, I'm Tom.
And I'm Andy.
And this is On the Node, a podcast about 2 best mates and 1 cancer journey. Before I ask how you are, mate, what are those?
The real question is, what are those?
Brand new microphones. So we are really excited. We can finally upgrade our sound. We had loads of feedback. Yes, the old ones were crap, but these ones are going to be much better.
Yeah, so the haters are going to be silenced and we're going to be podcasting in perfect harmony and pitch.
And our views are going to skyrocket because of that.
We're going to breach the 2K mark.
Our shorts are going to go viral. And they're
our
gonna...
YouTube shorts, not our actual shorts.
Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah. We haven't worn shorts yet. We're still trousers.
Still getting our licenses.
You can't wait to get your legs out.
Right, how are you, mate?
I'm very well. I have just come out of a 2-week stay in hospital, which is why we didn't have an episode last week.
Apologies.
But we'll catch up and we will make up for it with some bonus episodes over the next few weeks.
I mean, if there was ever an excuse to maybe not do an episode, I think that's fair.
I will reward myself with that one.
How have you been keeping otherwise? So you got out when?
5 days before recording this. No, okay. 3 days before recording this. So it was a longer than expected stay, but glad to be out. Good to be free again. So it's
happy days. Happy days.
How about you? You've accumulated another cricket trophy, haven't we?
We have accumulated another cricket trophy, albeit it doesn't belong to me. Belongs to the team, which is important. You know, no Iron Team and all that, but there is a me.
Do you all get a miniature?
No.
Oh.
We didn't get a medal.
Oh.
But Kowloon Cricket Club won the Premier League T20 final facing Hong Kong Cricket Club. So it was nice to be part of that occasion. Frankly, the only reason I was in the team was because our skipper was out of town. But we won't talk about that. It's silverware, it's hardware, and I'm proud.
Very good. But this is not a cricket podcast.
It is not. It is not. It is not The Great Cricketer. It is about you and your journey, obviously. So on that note, what are we going to be talking about today?
Yeah, so last time we talked about the plan. I was the man with the plan.
You were.
Is how we ended the episode. And we are now going to talk about the first time I had chemotherapy. So if we loop back to last time, I had decided along with the doctor that I was going to have AAVD chemotherapy.
I remember it well.
Yeah, all the acronyms. And this episode, we're going to just talk about that first trip to hospital, that first time in.
And talk about AAVD in intimate detail. Not too intimate, obviously.
Well, yeah. I'll just share my experience at least.
Indeed. Okay, so obviously you're not checking into a hotel, naturally, but you have to pack a bag.
So now's a good time that we talk about what a hospital go bag might look like for a stay in a hospital in Hong Kong.
A hospital go bag. So obviously different types of bag. How do you decide on the bag itself?
Well, this is going to be a bit like one of those GQ, like what do I take with me?
Quite right.
And I'll get my bag out and I'll show you what's in my bag. But how do I decide the bag? It is a backpack I own. That was the go bag.
Fine. So by default.
Yeah,
right.
It's just my go bag.
Okay, so go bag is about to make an appearance.
It is
on the node. It's first ever appearance.
It is, yeah, and probably the last.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah. So, the backpack. It's just a plain black,
It's got a
undefined.
face only a mother could love.
Yeah, it's quite tired, but Lan very kindly bought it for me Christmas about
Sorry, Lan.
5 years ago.
Deeply insulting there to Lan. Apologies. It's a great bag. I love the bag. Beautiful bag.
It is a great bag. It's very practical, side pockets,
Yeah.
all the rest of it. So that's the bag.
Your first item in that bag is what?
It is an entertainment device. It is integral.
A nondescript entertainment advice.
No, it's an
device.
iPad. It's an iPad.
Excellent.
It's you have so many hours where you're sitting around waiting, or when you're receiving chemotherapy, you can't do anything, so you need something to keep occupied. And if you're quite tired, you don't want to do much other than consume Netflix, Prime.
Best
whatever.
Netflix series that you've seen in hospital? Is that a bit niche?
White Lotus this
Okay,
time round, probably. But yeah, that's that.
Second item?
Second item, very important, as I discovered, especially on this stay, is noise cancelling headphones. I've had some neighbours in my hospital rooms who like to leave their doors open and play very loud music all day long, and these are the only solution. I also want to thank my team at work because they bought these for me as a gift, so that was very, very kind. I didn't have these in 2022 for that first stay, but this time round they've been integral to my survival.
Big up the team.
Absolutely.
What is your third item? That looks interesting.
This, again, it's another gift. This is what my brother bought me in
Excellent.
2022, actually, and it was very kind. It's something called a Steam Deck.
A Steam Deck.
Deck.
I said it in an Australian accent.
Right. I Good accent.
What?
You should work on that.
So talk us through your Steam Deck.
So Steam Deck is basically a handheld gaming PC,
Right.
which I have not put as many hours as I suspected my brother would have expected me to put through. But it is, it was really generous. And
So what is on a Steam Deck? Like games?
Yeah, games. Yeah,
Like what sort of games?
PC games.
Okay.
Anything. You can put anything on it. But it's.
Have you ever tried to pronounce it in an Australian accent?
No, and I will continue not to do so.
Okay, fine. Steam Deck. Fourth item. That looks like a lovely little number.
Yeah,
A bag within a bag.
A bag within a bag, absolutely.
Two bags.
Yeah, bagception. I think they
Yes,
call it.
very good.
So this is my toiletries bag.
Yeah.
I normally chuck in toothpaste, moisturizer. Very drying, sitting in a
Yeah.
hospital ward all the time.
So not chemo specifically, just general ward.
Yeah, just generally, like if I'm in
Environment.
hospital, like they're blasting AC all the time, so you
Yeah,
just dry
yeah.
out and that. And interestingly, aftershave.
Go on, talk us through that. Just like to smell good.
It's a bit of a thing about feeling normal,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
having
yeah.
a bit of your routine, because you're in a place, you feel like a patient because you are a patient, and get up in the morning, do some exercise, shower, moisturize, put aftershave on, just to feel a bit more normal. Lan hates it. She goes, "Why are you doing
Hates
that?
the
Why?"
aftershave, or hates the fact that you put the aftershave on in the hospital?
That one,
Okay,
the second
fine.
one, because it's a she's like, "Are you trying to impress the nurses?"
I was going to go there, but I thought it would be slightly inappropriate. But
Yeah,
but obviously you're not.
it's not. It's
you're
absolutely
not-
not. It's
not
just
about that life.
It's just to feel a bit normal.
Yeah.
So,
all right, Lan, give him a break.
She's getting all this grief, and she's not even made an appearance
Yeah,
yet
yeah. Well, she can defend herself at the next.
at the
Anyway,
next one.
Anyway, we're giving too much away there, but something to look forward to.
Yeah. So that's like the key items. The other one is off screen at the moment. Maybe I could superimpose a image of the Mac that I use.
Yeah.
I have a laptop with me for admin and most importantly editing on the Node episodes while I'm sitting in a
That is
hospital
now
bed.
your favourite pastime.
It is. So that's again more of a recent thing. On the Node didn't exist in 2023, but
didn't.
yeah. So that is also the conclusion of my grab bag.
There you go. Grab bag top 5. Love it. Cool. So now we've established what's in your hospital go bag. Let's go to hospital. And what is that process when you first rock up? Is it a clinic? Is it a hospital? Like what does that feel and look like?
Yeah, it's a hospital. So you go to admissions desk
Mhm.
in the hospital. It's a bit like checking into a hotel,
Nice.
but with less freedoms.
Much less.
And without the double bed
Slightly
and all the
less
luxuries.
excitement, I can imagine.
Yeah, a lot less excitement. But yeah, so you go to admissions desk and they take you up to the ward, and I have to stay in a reverse isolation ward. So that's basically people who have got immune compromised conditions. So it's just a little bit more protective than a general ward, if that makes sense.
But you're still allowed. It was a slight detour here, but people are still allowed because I'd come to visit you, right? So you're saying the floor that I came to visit you on is slightly more protected than other floors.
Yeah,
Okay.
I believe so. At least that's what they say. And there are certain rules around certain patients, and all of the rooms are kind of private rooms, but they share bathrooms, so they're semi-private. There's no it's not just a one big room with 8 beds in it or anything like that.
Okay,
It's
fine. It's not like a dormitory.
Yeah, correct. So it's a little bit different. But it's a nice enough space for
Receiving chemotherapy.
Yeah, yeah.
Not to make light of it. But then, so you get there, and then I guess they have to insert something in your body in order to then drip feed it in.
Yeah, so we talked last time about choosing a catheter type, and we spoke about how I'd chosen we've kind of given a very limited choice, but we went with the Hickman catheter. So if we circle back to December 26th, 2022 or 27th, I can't remember, is when I got admitted to hospital, and the first thing they did that day was insert the catheter. So there was several hours of sitting around, hence the importance of a iPad and things. But after that, then I was whisked down to the surgical floor, and I wasn't put under general anesthetic, but it's like a deep sedation, so I'm not really awake for it. And they inserted this catheter, and it takes like half an hour.
Okay. Interesting. And actually, what I found interesting is the catheter is something that stays in.
Yeah,
right. You're wearing it now. I won't ask you to.
I'm wearing
whip
my
out your
second catheter.
Second.
Because they took the first one out obviously when I finished,
and then
but it lives with you for the entire duration of treatment. And it requires sort of a weekly wound care basis. So essentially I have a hole in my chest at all times, and there's a little protective disc they put on it that's sort of antibacterial and things. Okay. So that dressing gets changed every week, and that's just the matter of it. There are other catheter types that people can have. So there's one called a PICC line, which goes in your arm. We talked about it last time, I think. And that one again needs a weekly dressing. And in other parts of the world, they offer something called a port.
A port?
Yeah, where basically it sits under the skin. Oh, okay. And every time they sort of do chemo, they have to sort of puncture a little hole into your port to access it, which then heals up between each session. But it's a bit more hygienic the rest of the time.
Right.
So like you can shower easier.
Yeah.
Whereas like for me to shower,
have to avoid it and stuff.
Yeah. So like it's really hard to, like living in Hong Kong, especially now in the summer, it's a pain because
sweaty.
Exactly. Yeah. So showering, I have to wrap up, waterproof. Anyway, very annoying, but it's very integral to it. And the importance of it is it has two ends to it. I can't remember what they're called, but they've got a technical name.
Ends is fine.
Ends is fine for this purpose. Lumens. That's the name. They're
very good.
Lumens.
You've done well to drag that out from the memory bank.
Yeah, I did. I pulled deep down.
Yeah.
So they have 2 lumens, and essentially it means while I'm plugged into chemotherapy, they can also draw blood. So they can they can take a blood test while
simultaneously to you doing chemo.
One will be plugged into drugs, and one they can access for other purposes.
Okay, so then let's talk about the drugs.
Yeah.
So you plugged in. I guess it then somehow connects into the catheter, right? And then you're plugged into like a bag of liquid.
Yeah, so before that, so that's when they start the chemotherapy itself. So before that, they have to give you pre-medication for chemotherapy, and that is to help manage symptoms and side effects. We'll talk about side effects another time.
Yeah.
But mostly like nausea is something that you could get immediately.
Yeah.
So they give you
just rapidly.
Yeah,
rapidly comes on.
yeah. So they give you some pills. So they give you a pill called Emend and Zofran, and they also, before chemotherapy itself, they give you, and they give it about an hour before they start. I think it's dexamethasone, so it's a type of steroid,
Right.
and again, it's to suppress any kind of nausea that you might have. So that's how they start off. So
Okay.
after the catheter's in,
Yeah.
the next morning, that's how my day started.
So with those
Pre-meds.
pre-meds, and then how soon after you taking the meds does the actual chemotherapy start?
It's about an hour. So
Okay. So
they
they're
just let
quite-
it sort of sit for a bit and let
Right.
them work, and then they get started.
And then that initial, so it then connects.
Yeah,
It's a
so
really weird thing.
it's
but
weird.
do you feel it coming? Do you feel it coming into your body?
Yeah, so essentially, this catheter
Yeah.
is, so it's coming out of my chest here,
Yeah.
and then it's yay long. So what, 7 inches long,
Right.
outside of my chest. Until the end of the luma.
Coming what, like protruding out of your chest?
Yeah, it's like this white cable essentially,
yeah.
and they screw the end of the lumen into the
end of the
end of the drip bag, basically the
Right.
IV, and then you can start feeling things coming in. So you can't really feel it when it's a drip. But you can feel an injection, because if it's like an injection, let's say that dexamethasone, or
Yeah.
if they're doing what they call a saline flush.
Oh,
which
so that also goes through the catheter?
Yeah, yeah,
all the
yeah, yeah.
pre-meds? Oh,
Yeah. So
okay.
that's
I thought they
that.
were just a couple of pills you popped.
Yeah, 2 pills and 1 injection.
Right. So you can feel that pressure coming through.
Yeah, you can feel the thing
Oh,
coming through the
man.
cable. It's a weird feeling,
Yeah.
really weird. Like you just feel like movement in your chest. It's just really odd. So that's what it's like. And then you sit there, and essentially they give you these 4. If you remember, it's like a cocktail of 4 different drugs.
Yeah.
That's not mixed into one bag.
Right.
It's 4 different bags
Okay.
that over the course of a few hours they give to you.
Right.
So that's how it kind of starts, and each bag is like a different length. It will be a different size, and each one is measured per your body weight, basically. So the dose is very specific to you as an
The
individual.
chemo dose.
Yeah.
Okay. And then but when it's dripping, you're not feeling that drip coming through your body.
No, I can't feel the flow, as it were,
Got it.
of the drip.
But are there kind of reactions that your body has? Is there tingling? Do you get cold? Like what?
Yeah, so that's exactly what happens. I don't get tingly, but I get really cold. So like when I was having it in 2023, and it was sort of later in the season, so it was maybe May, like in my last few
Yeah.
sessions.
So
It was
boiling outside
raging-
in Hong Kong, by the way.
Raging heat, humidity, and I would be dressed in sort of like sweatpants and a hoodie, and a t-shirt and stuff, and I would come out of the chemo clinic and be like shivering,
Yeah.
waiting for a taxi outside.
Wow.
Which is like really weird, because it just over the course of a couple of hours, and I assume a couple of the drugs maybe are refrigerated, like before they give them to you.
Okay, fine.
But at the same time, I think it's
So is that
also
your theory, or there's a chemical reason for it?
I think
as
there's a
well?
chemical
Okay,
reason to it. I
fine.
think it's a bit of both. Like some of
Yeah.
them you feel cold pretty quickly, and the other thing is feeling really tired.
Okay.
But
Does
I think
that come on? When does that come on?
probably about an hour into it.
Oh, really?
And
And
I-
how? So sorry. I was going to ask. My first question was going to be, how long is a bag, as it were?
Depends on the drug. So some of them are only 15 minutes,
Okay.
and some of them are like an hour or 2 hours.
Okay, fine.
So I think there's this big orange bag.
The one that looks like Aperol.
It does look like Aperol.
Yeah.
We haven't discussed that.
Oh, really?
before. No, I think I've told you,
You
but
showed
we've
me
not.
a photo.
Yeah. So there's one that's like, I think it's called like Venoblastine or something. I can't
The V,
remember.
yeah.
I think it was the V, and it's a big orange bag. And a lot of people who have different cancers, they have that bag.
Right, okay.
So like people know it's like the big orange one and things like that.
Yeah.
And it'd be quite familiar, and it has really weird side of like a sensation during the time, because I think it's the longest one. It's like an hour and a half or 2 hours. It takes ages, and they ask you to drink loads of water when you're having your chemotherapy anyway.
To flush out toxins, or
Yeah, it's to help your kidneys basically be able to process
Okay,
that by
fine, yeah.
diluting it essentially.
yeah,
And when you're doing that, obviously they're putting loads of fluids in you
Yeah.
through the bags.
Yeah.
You're trying to drink sort of 2 liters of water in like a 2 hour, like 3 or 4 hour period.
so there are natural outcomes to that.
Yeah, so you have to pee a lot.
But how if you're plugged in?
You can
you just
can
go-
unplug it from the wall, and it's got a short battery timer,
Right.
the machine,
Yeah.
so you can just wheel it with you.
Okay.
Or if you really like, I think when I was going to chemo clinics, they would actually unplug me and let me go.
Okay.
And then they'd plug me back in when I was done. But basically, when you go and pee, not only are you peeing a lot, but when you're having the
alcohol.
orange one, it's bright orange.
It's a bit like
It's
when
really-
you have what was it? One of the lozenges. What's the
Barocca.
Yeah, Barocca.
I'm not a big Barocca consumer.
Honestly,
but
get on the Barocca and we can compare. But it's I can imagine it being the same.
my
or
immune
similar.
system needs all the help it can get, so
Yeah,
maybe the
fair.
Barocca will help.
Okay, so and then how long is the process? Like, remind me, how long is one cycle?
Yeah, so one cycle, so like one infusion, if we're talking about, is about 4 hours. So I think one bag is 2 hours, one was an hour, one was half an hour, one was 15 minutes.
Got it.
And then basically in between each bag, they would flush the catheter with saline for
Okay,
10
okay.
minutes, something like that. So it's approximately 4 hours to kind of like from being plugged into the first bag to leaving the clinic, or in this case the hospital, but I didn't leave that first time.
Why?
So because you've never had it before, and much like with, anytime you speak to a doctor or they give you medication if you've got any allergies, people have never had chemo before, right? So it's not good for your body anyway, but they need to make sure that you don't have like a really severe reaction. So
makes sense.
that first time you get it, I was kept in overnight for monitoring essentially, and to make sure that I was okay.
Got it. And you were.
I was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was okay.
So it's 4 hours every 2 weeks
Correct. Yeah, it was every 2 weeks.
for 6 months or whatever, or
Yes, it
however
was
long
6
it wants.
yeah,
it
so
was
it's-
at that time.
It's 6 cycles, and a cycle has 2 infusions.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's, 6. Yeah.
So okay, I'm clear. How did you feel after that first one? Did you feel like, okay, yeah, we've gotten going now?
There's definitely an element of, oh, it wasn't that bad, and it's a really weird thing to kind of think. Like once you've done it one time, you go, well, I'm gonna do it a few more times, and obviously you have to go through that 2-week cycle. You do experience a whole bunch of side effects, which aren't nice, and we'll talk about that in a
Separate
future,
episode, yeah.
because I think that's really important. But yes, mentally, you go. At least for me, I know other patients probably feel a bit different, and they go, this is the worst thing I've ever done. And it's not my top 10 best things I've ever done, for sure.
No, I can't imagine it features anywhere close.
Yeah, no way. But it's, for me, mentally, it was a big milestone to hit, to have that first one done and feel better. And generally, like throughout the sort of 12 infusions, or the 6 cycles, as it were, I would set different milestones that were kind of like mini celebratory
Like what?
components. Well, you came to visit me.
Well, that is a massive milestone, wasn't it?
pretty
Probably
s-
the biggest
pretty
milestone you had.
Yeah, up there with having
Top
a 10. Yeah, top 10 out of the 12
Yeah.
cycles.
Nice.
So that was the kind of crux of the experience, I suppose. It's pretty boring. You just sit watching stuff, and like I said, it made me really sleepy. So I slept through 1 or 2 hours of that 4 hours anyway.
Yeah, and I remember it obviously wasn't your first time, but the recent time, right?
Relapse.
Your relapse. And that, I think I came the day after you'd started the first cycle of chemo,
Yeah.
and it was like, to your own admission, the next day I was like, I barely remembered what we
That-
spoke about.
That's because they gave me a different drug.
Okay, fine. We can come on to that on another week.
Yeah, relapse treatment. I think we should do a whole different
Fine.
segment on it. But yeah, they give you different medications, and that particular time,
Got it.
I reacted to that in a way that was a bit weird.
Yeah.
It just made me very foggy.
No, but I think the fact that you've concluded your first cycle, you're feeling really positive, you're putting in milestones, probably a good positive end to this week's podcast.
Yeah, I think it's a good time to end. And I think next time we will probably be doing our bonus episode.
The BEP.
So we will reveal more about that, but we're basically going to talk about why I've been in hospital for the previous 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and kind of give a bit more background to that, and hopefully people will find that really interesting because it's very different to what I've done so far.
Very different. I'm looking forward to unpacking that with you as well.
Oh, you do love to unpack. I should have let you unpack
Mate,
my
call
bag.
me IKEA, mate.
Should have let you unpack my bag earlier.
Yeah, I don't want to see the bag again.
Right,
Right, on that note, I'm Tom,
and I'm Andy.
and that was On the Node.